Globalization, the flow of goods, services, people, and capital across borders, has boosted global prosperity and helped emerging markets rise in recent decades. After the 2007 to 2008 financial crisis, the globalized economy faced political reaction, trade wars, and protectionism due to the altering global economic balance of power. The global economy changed as the COVID-19 epidemic and Russia's invasion of Ukraine exposed economic vulnerabilities and exacerbated geopolitical tensions. This has reorganized global trade and investment around security and resilience rather than efficiency. To reduce risks and grasp opportunities in this globalization reset, company plans must consider new economic and geopolitical realities. After the Cold War ended in 1991, liberal economic policies accelerated globalization, transforming the global economy, especially with the growth of emerging economies like China. Economic multipolarity reduced advanced industrial economies. G7's GDP share from 66% in 1992 to 44% in 2022. Meanwhile, the Brics climbed from 7% to 26%. This shifting balance of global economic power has put pressure on G7-led global economic organizations like the IMF and WTO, which have supported globalization. Emerging alternative organizations in Brics countries in their 2024 decision to recruit additional members have emphasized strategic competition around the global economic order, in addition to increased geopolitical tensions between the US and China. The epidemic and Russia's invasion of Ukraine have highlighted globalized economy vulnerabilities and marked the most major shift in geopolitical relations since the Cold War, with serious economic consequences. The war in Ukraine has caused an unprecedented economic decoupling between the G7 and Russia and worsened US-China tensions, increasing the risk for global supply chains and manufacturing networks. As geopolitical tensions rise, countries and corporations worldwide are reducing economic dependence and de-risking concentrated supply networks, typically along growing geopolitical blocs. This globalization reset, which prioritizes security and resilience over efficiency, risks fragmenting the global economy. It also implies a major shift from liberal economic ideas to government involvement, which could slow global growth. Global commerce and investment are projected to change faster due to geopolitical rivalries and the need for supply chain resilience. U.S. international trade trends show global trade revolution. From 2018 to 2022, U.S. imports from China fell from 21% to 16%. Growing diversification away from China through nearshoring to Canada and Mexico made Mexico the top U.S. import partner in 2023. Trade and investment have shifted away from China as global supply chains diversify, with U.S. imports from Vietnam rising 161% from 2018 to 2022. Rearranging global trade flows suggests regionalization around major free trade zones, such as the 2020 U.S.-Mexico-Canada Agreement and the 2022 Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, which cover large parts of Asia-Pacific and Australasia. Politically motivated global infrastructure and investment strategies like China's Belt and Road Initiative, the G7's Partnership for Global Infrastructure and Investment, and the planned India-Middle East-Europe Economic Corridor will drive global trade and investment. Diversifying global firms must decide where to go. Euromonitor International's Future Manufacturing Hubs Index evaluates labor force, competitiveness, and openness to identify top manufacturing destinations and winners in the globalization reset. But before we continue this briefing, kindly click the like notification feature below to support this channel and to enable you to learn of your preferences while receiving updates every time a new video is uploaded on this channel. Thanks for your cooperation. Let's get going. Due to global population aging, corporations must consider the workforce when investing. An abundant, skilled, and youthful workforce meets companies' demand for skilled workers and sustains the domestic consumer market, as working-age populations are the main spenders. Production costs have driven investment decisions. Competitive labor costs, infrastructural quality, and productivity growth will continue to attract foreign investment. Investment and production relocation decisions also depend on market openness, including global trade integration and business and trading freedom. Investors or exporters prefer business-friendly economies and trade policies. Many Asian countries, especially Vietnam, India, and Indonesia, are well positioned to become new manufacturing and export hubs. As globalization resets, many Asia-Pacific countries, particularly Vietnam, India, and Indonesia, are well positioned to prosper and become new manufacturing and export hubs. International trade and investment have faced increased limitations and disincentives, but deglobalization is improbable. Companies continue to pursue growth, efficiency advantages, and supply access through global production networks and foreign markets, including trade and investment reallocation. Our report, New Economic Reality, Geopolitical Risks and Globalization Reset, explains how to find chances during globalization reset, how technology is transforming globalization, and how leaders can succeed on the windy road. Deglobalization and nationalism have been hot topics. Despite a rise in national pride or allegiance, globalization statistics suggest it's not going away. It is evolving and becoming more difficult. Global trade in goods and services is growing. The UNCTAD Global Trade Update issued in February 2022 reported that global trade reached a record $28.5 trillion in 2021, 13% higher than in 2019 before the outbreak. Globalization has altered, and there are challenges. Over the past 30 years, governments have focused on attracting international investment, lowering barriers, adopting standardized universal laws and regulations, etc. Governments, especially in affluent nations, are increasingly concerned about how free trade borders affect other social goals. I use a highway analogy to describe globalization's changes. The past 30 years have seen globalization go like a straight motorway. Governments are removing barriers, detours, and easing travel for everyone. Looking ahead, globalization is like a meandering roadway. The road curves frequently. Governments and internal social pressures developed many of those curves. The car on this route represents technology, which is accelerating. Drivers of curving highways know that if they move too fast and miss the bend, they'll crash. There we are in a fast car on a winding route the government is no longer paving. Companies and CEOs will drive off the road if they don't know the road. Multinational companies must comprehend and negotiate globalization's new realities. Digital technologies will accelerate globalization. Technology facilitates communication, extension, and networking, but it does not deepen relationships. Executives and global managers must create business culture and build trust with individuals worldwide. Over Zoom, we all understand the challenges of that duty after the pandemic. Technology is also expanding the class divide and causing inequalities in society. Governments care more about global trade's non-economic effects. Political issues, sustainability, divided society, and income inequality are their priorities. People are growing more attached to their identity, nationality, society, and culture as globalization grows. This might cause defensiveness, worry, and rage, making it difficult. As globalization grows, expands, and evolves, leaders must comprehend these new realities that are making it more complicated and develop the proper attitude and abilities to navigate the twisting road ahead. What can leaders do? Globalization increases workplace variety of thought and activity, regardless of race, nationality, or employer. That makes most people uneasy and apprehensive of their behavior. Fortunately, leaders, managers, and students can develop a global perspective and prosper in a global world. Keep these in mind. Be aware of foreign cultures, values, and customs. The company's workforce will include people from numerous states, nationalities, and backgrounds. Colleagues will have different perspectives on how things should be done. Being aware and compassionate to diverse viewpoints is crucial, even if you disagree. It will promote inclusivity. Use foreign country information to be more sensitive, empathic, communicative, and professional and personable. The Najafi Global Mindset Institute at Thunderbird School of Global Management is creating a dashboard with data from over 100 countries. This will allow Thunderbirds to learn everything they need to know about a county they work in or with on one site. Assess your global attitude, strengths, and growth areas. The Global Mindset Inventory is a top global leader exam. Psychological, social, and intellectual components are examined historically. It is being updated to include digital thinking traits. The new Worldwide Digital Mindset Inventory, GDMI, assesses an individual's worldwide digital success potential. Anyone can take the evaluation to analyze their performance, identify areas for improvement, and acquire growth methods. Understand tech's pros and cons. Technology powers much of our work. It drives globalization and connectedness. Technology makes it harder to create ties, and not everyone has access to it. These constraints should be considered when talking and forming connections with coworkers online. Understand others. Many older people moan about millennials and younger people about boomers. Instead of whining, attempt to comprehend their perspective, values, and motivations. Understanding others helps you work with varied ages, genders, cultures, nations, and personalities. Be comfortable being uncomfortable. Diversity has a negative meaning in synonyms like contrast, disagreement, discrepancy, disparity, unlikeness. People are most comfortable with likeness, hence diversity is uncomfortable. We must accept discomfort to overcome it. Knowing others are suffering helps too. Accept diversity instead of hiding it. Make it okay to talk about discomfort and encourage individuals to work through it. Globalization creates market, talent, and growth prospects for companies, but they're also realizing the journey is bumpier and more complex. More consideration, sensitivity, and respect are needed. The Najafi Global Mindset Institute at Thunderbird School of Global Management prepares our students in other business schools, managers, and organizations to achieve their global goals while using technology effectively and mitigating negative effects. We want to help our clients and audiences grasp globalization and flourish with the right tools. That's where we wrap things up for the time being. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.